Hi, good evening. Good evening. This is a great Sunday. I've had a really good day today. I've just come back home from my little kind of, little kind of travel that I do on Sundays just to kind of refresh myself, give myself a perspective on the week that has happened. And I feel good. I do a little bit of shopping, a little bit of eating, and then I get back home, to my little kind of, woman cave, as we call it. So welcome to this Sunday and this Sunday's episode of Heart to Heart with Ethel Da Costa. Heart to Heart is brought to you in association with the Mac Clinic. The Mac Clinic is Malaysia's premier and very premium aesthetic institution for the last 20 years. I'm really grateful that the Mac Clinic is a partner with me in season 2 as well. We have great stories to tell, and we have great sharing to share with all my listeners and my audiences that come from India, Malaysia, and rest of the world. It really gives me a sense of purpose, because I think all things that are of happiness and of wisdom and knowledge needs to be shared, and that is the space I come from, where blessings and gratitude multiplies and doubles when you put it out there, when you kind of really share it with the universe and everybody else that makes up of the universe landscape. So I like Heart to Heart because of that. It kind of makes me feel, of course, it's also my own style and brand of journalism, which is about leadership. And that's why I call it Leadership Soul Series, because we all want to see and know what goes on behind the faces and the hearts of my guest who I present every Sunday. So welcome again to another episode of Heart to Heart with Ethel Da Costa. Heart to Heart is brought to you in association with the Mac Clinic. And today I have a very interesting guest. I've known this personality for a very long time now. And in some strange, as strange coincidence, if I could call it, I met Dr. Benjamin Patrick, who's a holistic medicine advocate and founder of Chadasha Lifecare in Malaysia. I met him in Goa through a mutual friend, because Dr. Benjamin was in Goa to source and see how he could support the entire medical industry in Goa, because Goa is very high on medical tourism as well, and so is Malaysia. And a mutual friend introduced us. We met. We of course clicked immediately. There was a big PR event that was held in Goa by my company to introduce Dr. Benjamin Patrick and his Chadasha Lifecare, and everything that that the organization, brand, and this very interesting stream of medicine and healing has to offer to everybody else who wants to avail of it. Because like I keep telling, and Dr. Ben and we keep sharing, Dr. Ben, with affection, that good health is each one's birthright, and every individual must own that birthright of wanting to take care of himself, herself, wanting to look good, eat well, understand how your body and your organs function, and take complete responsibility and accountability for it. Because some of us are born with good genes, some of us are not. Some of us have handed down chromosomes that you can't do much about, but you can still tune in, change how your body functions, how your organs respond, how you feed it in terms of not only just good food and great supplements, but also the energy from the outside, that feeds into your own body to create your own specific aura and energy field. It is so important, my dear Facebookers and everybody else, my audiences that that listen to me, read me. It is so important for us to take charge of how we feel, what we create for ourselves in terms of scenarios and circumstances to thrive physically, mentally, spiritually, and take recourse to support and healthcare systems that also have solutions of this sort to support us. So welcome to this Sunday's edition of Heart to Heart with Dr. Benjamin Patrick, who is a holistic advocate and founder of, of Chadasha Lifecare. Give me just a minute. I'm getting him right live now. Dr. Ben.
Hi, Ethel. Nice to meet you. It's always a pleasure.
Yes, and you too. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm in Kuching, Sarawak right now doing a conference. And here with me is Daniel and from ENF Essentials.
Hi.
Right. Hi, Daniel. Hi.
Hi. Hi. Great to see you all. See you and your fellow Facebookers. So I just wanted to introduce iDefender Gold, which is infused with resonance technology, and Dr. Ben will be talking more about it today.
That what you've created there looks so good. It just kind of creates this aura of wellness, and I'm feeling so good myself sitting down miles away from you, Dr. Ben.
Yes. Well, I thought it'd be a good idea to combine resonance frequency into solutions, since we have the technology to do it now. Correct. And bioresonance is what I do, and it's a study of how energetic matter relates to our cells, to our tissues, to our organs. And we take for granted, Ethel, actually, life is like an energy phenomenon, and everything that happens in our body involves an energy exchange.
Yes.
And we take it for granted. We always focus on the end product or the problem, and we forget to be present.
Correct.
Whether or not to deal with our emotion is the first experience when we are emotionally inclined to be sad or unhappy. It is the start and beginning of disease.
Yes, correct.
So disease is a mental state.
Correct. Disease is a mental state. That is really not good. I mean, that sounds absolutely powerful. Disease is a mental state. That's what you said, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Because I don't think a lot of people understand that. A lot of people just take everything, around them, including things, good things around them, good people in their life for granted. And then, when as we keep saying, and you and I have known each other for such a long time now, and you also counsel me. One has to get rid of, like we keep saying, get rid of the drama.
That's
Keep it all out of the door. Keep it out of your cell phone. Keep it out of your personal spaces and working spaces, right? And
that's right.
And I'm so glad that we got introduced. And I'm really happy and grateful and thankful to you for the sessions that I've also done with you, which helped me to understand my body better. And that, that I was so completely 200% responsible for my own state of being, which is mental well-being and physical well-being. And thanks to you, I've overhauled my diet as well. And I'm eating more fruits, more vegetables, and completely kind of, my favorite, got rid of the meats and the butter and all that out. But I have no regrets. So yes, so Dr. Ben, happy to have you on this episode of Heart to Heart with me. And, I'm very excited to meet you. Dr. Hugh also, who will join us, through the course of the interview, will also, join us and speak and share. And he's also very interested to also connect with you, awesome. Later on. Yes. So let's just get straight into the conversation. Sure. What is bioresonance, Dr. Benjamin?
Okay, bioresonance, two consonants. One is bio and resonance. So let's understand the word in its holistic meaning. Bio is actually, the meaning for bio means life. And resonance is to be in sync with the vibrations that are within your body, in your mind, and in your surrounding. So the study of bioresonance is the study of how energy interacts. And the interaction of energies that come from our surrounding objects, natural objects, and even man-made objects, and how they interact, how they collide, and how they influence behavior of cells in our body, in our organs.
Wow.
So is a total study of that. In fact, there's so many clinical documentation today that we have as a result of years of research. Bioresonance has gone from just a concept into a technology that can be used by all practitioners, even medical, conventional medicine practitioners as well.
Yes.
And I'm glad to introduce this to the world. I'm working together with the top scientists that are involved in developing this technology. And we've been happy to continue to upgrade and update it as we see fit. As we treat people, we begin to discover and learn more about people's behavior. It gives us information to how best treat people. And so the system has advanced to an 8th generation technological device. So I'm glad to introduce that to you this evening.
Yes, correct. Because as you know, as we've been kind of also talking quite some time now, ever since I know you, like how you also kind of said, you've been doing it for the last 20 years. Am I correct?
That's right.
Yes. So which means there is a systematic, study to it. That is one. There is enough body. When I say body in terms, I mean in terms of number of patients who have availed of bioresonance as a holistic treatment for themselves and have healed from whatever were their ailments. Am I correct?
That's right. Absolutely.
Okay. Because as we were discussing backstage too, there is a lot of this. I think this entire form, as you call it, of alternative medicine that everyone keeps talking about. Oh, it's just a trend, or it's just a fad, it's just a phase, Ethel, that way. It just, it comes and goes. It's humbug. What do you have to say to that, Dr. Ben?
Well, science, for it to be a science, it has to provide you with sufficient evidence. It's got to be evidence-based, number one. Number two, it's got to be factual. Number two, it has got to be something that can be replicated and introduced again and again so that you can receive the same results. You see, so the method and the approach and the technique has got to be proven. And for it to be proven, it needs to be reused and reused and reused again and again and again. Bioresonance is based on the idea that unhealthy cells or organs emit altered electromagnetic waves due to DNA damage. And this is due to the exposure of radiation that we are exposed to today. Now, we live in the 21st century. We are exposed to various emitting devices that emit a lot of radiation. And these energies are causing a lot of changes to our DNA. So it's only befitting, Ethel, that we have a system that is structured. After all, this system is coming from Germany. They're very meticulous in how they do things. In fact, this device has been tested and approved. And the Russian system as well is an FDA licensed machine. So we need to lend it due credibility and respect. We believe that the detection of waves can be used to diagnose disease while changing these waves back to its normal frequency with the support of the body so that the body can heal faster. Now that we have a tool, this device is going to help doctors through a computerized software system to analyze all the probabilities. Now, when something goes through a computerized system, it cannot be cheated. It has to have an algorithm. It has to have a format. It has to have a structured line of interpretation. And that is what this device has provided. And I'm so happy because before this, I used to measure the meridians through dermal visceral zones. And I'm sure a TCM doctor would identify what I'm saying. They would check the points, the pulse point. But how could we quantify? We weren't able to quantify because the results or the aftermath of the treatment, because the knowledge was kept by each master in his field. So finally, what the Germans and Russians did was they devised a technology that could conglomerate all the holistic practices, and you don't really need to be a specialist TCM or a specialist in Ayurvedic or homeopathic substances. because the computer deciphers the information and produces the data in an analytical sheet that even a medical conventional doctor could read and understand. See, that's why I say the bioresonance has come a long way. And in the past, maybe some of these doctors may have had changing stories from people who have had bad experiences, that could be associated with the means of treatment done by which person, whether the person was competent or not, whether the person was able to deliver the message on time or apply the science properly. But like I said, now it's advanced so much more. As you see in the machine yourself, you've been through the system. We go through a systematic report, and we're able to give an informed report to the patient with evidence of what's going on in their body.
Correct. Yeah. And as I said, I've seen that myself, because I have been there, and I've seen what you do and how you do it. And that is how I thought it was a good time now to kind of present, and discuss it, because as we know, and I've also shared it with you, that a lot of people have, of course, a lot of things to say, correct? And each one is entitled to, their own opinion, to decide what is best for them, and choose that line of healing or medicine or holistic well-being for themselves. Which brings me to my next question, Dr. Ben. So you say that each organ cell has an energy code of its own to denote its own state of health. I find that fascinating, because I think for a long time, people have not understood, that we're all beings of energy. Everything around us is energy, right? Because energy cannot be seen, like physical manifestation of it in that way. But and knowing it myself so deeply, I think when I did a couple of these sessions with you, I also kind of understood very, very holistically, that each of our cell and organ is a living, breathing organism by itself, right? It has its own, it's like its own universe, right, of what it does. And us as a complete whole individual must participate in its care. Can you tell us something more about this energy code that you say that each cell has, that tells us our state of good health or disease?
Absolutely. In the words and sayings of even Albert Einstein, who said, "We've got it all wrong when we came to the study of matter, because we are actually energetic beings." So even he said that, and that was a concept that he came about during his era. But today, through technological research, we're able to identify signaling between cells. And cells of every kind have been documented and presented into a library. And this has been done meticulously and tested again and again in order to see whether the science is proven. And as a result of that, today we have a data that a software that is able to collect this data and into a mainframe and send this data into machines that are able to match, do an impedance check. Okay, that's another word for it, impedance. That means matching the right frequency to the cell. By collecting data from a library, we're able to match the right remedy of vibration that your body needs.
Okay.
So that's what we have right now. See, all electrical, electromagnetic forces play important roles in our body.
Yes.
Our cells are actually like tiny batteries with minute electrical charges. And ions actively and passively move to and fro into the cells as part of the metabolistic activity.
Correct. Actually, sorry. If you look around us, everything is, I think, is electromagnetic waves around, right? But it's lightning, but it's thunder. I mean, because I'm quite a sci-fi buff, so I watch all of these, natural disaster movies. And
Yeah.
everything is always about something, the electromagnetic field going, haywire or going astray, right? That sense, right? And
That's
which
right.
leads into systems, also therefore, going completely bad or kaput and leads to destruction. So I'm sure the same way, in a very simple way, for me
You
to
see,
understand.
we measure the outcome by seeing the disaster,
Hmm.
but we depend on science to tell us before the disaster happens.
Right.
So the weather channel or the people behind the meteorological department are very
Yes.
important in
Yes.
deciding how this energy exchange happened.
Hmm.
How it developed this build-up and how fast it's going to develop this build-up.
Yes.
Similar to that is why we have this device and this technology with us to help us discover what's causing the problem from the root perspective. You
Right.
see? And if we can deal things from the root perspective, we can avoid a lot of harm and a lot of pain. You see?
Yes.
And so we are deciphering information by reading energies through an Ethel reader. This technology provides us with an Ethel reading ability. That's to read the resistance between cells, decipher interruptions that happen in the cells due to bacteria and viruses and funguses, and help us identify it, help us invert waves in order to target those viruses, shattering their cell walls by inverting waves. So this is all physics. This is all energy exchange.
Yeah. Correct.
So
Correct.
ingeniously, the inventors of these devices have really carefully put to thought how to channel energy in the right place at the right time. So
Yeah.
what we have is a very target therapy.
Correct. Yes. Wow. Yeah. And though it sounds very technical, I'm sure that it is,
Put it
when
in
you
the
explain to your patients, you do it in a very simplified manner, because I'm
yes.
speaking from experience. I'm speaking from experience. So, so to my Facebookers who are there with us, I have tried this, this line of treatment myself, and seen the results, and therefore can testify in a way to say that that it is not just hullabaloo, as you call it, right? That there is a very specific methodology to it that has helped me to also kind of understand how much that I need to be accountable in terms of what I allow into my body, and how I take care of myself, by making sure that I'm participating in my own healthcare. Is that correct, Dr. Ben?
Very true, very true.
Yeah.
So I'll try to put it in simplified terms. We
Yes.
understand energy through chi, ki, prana,
Yeah. Yes.
tenaga, hayat. These are terms that we understand energy in our own culture.
Correct.
But up to today, we have not been able to quantify the results. And that is quantify where this energy is going and what is it doing next.
Correct.
So they develop a new means, a sensory device, something that has a very, very sensitive receptor
Okay.
to target and to catch this information. Why this information is important is if we can ensure that our organs and cells get the right energy it needs,
Yes.
the right rest, the right support,
Correct.
the right exercise, then the cells are supported to perform the way they're supposed to.
Yeah.
If we're
you're
able
right.
to correct disturbances, then why not? Is it?
Yeah.
Then, regardless of where you come from or your upbringing, you have a teacher in between that acts as a mediator to help instruct you and improve your living by creating understanding.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dr. Ben, what would you say, according to you, is good health, and how does one achieve it?
Okay. Good health begins with a good mental state, like I mentioned before.
Good
It
health
is when
begins
we
with good mental state.
yes,
Yeah.
good mental state. We've got to decide that you
Yeah.
want good health.
Yes.
before anything can happen. You can have the best food, you can have the best gym instructor, you can have the best essential oils, but you have a lousy mindset, you won't be
Yeah.
able to move forward.
Yeah.
So it begins with the mind first, and that is why it's so important. You know, in our center, we always coach the patients. We bring them in before doing any treatment.
Right.
We first enable them to be addressed. And the first protocol is to harmonize themselves by using a specific program to calm the person down. So the person is calm. We
Yes.
talk to the person, we listen in to what they have to say sometimes. It's
Correct.
so easy to move into action to treat the person without listening to them, without being
Yes.
present.
Yes.
And it's funny, most of the time I find a connection when I listen to my patient and my patient begins to share with me how they feel.
Yes, absolutely right.
Because that is their first response. It's not the
Yeah.
disease. You know, we're not looking for the disease, we're not looking for the problem, we're looking for the solution. The solution comes from first understanding the energy that is present.
Correct.
So bioresonance machine uses a program to calm the person down. It's called harmonizing.
Harmonizing, yeah, yeah.
Then
I
we talk
saw
about
that. I saw that too.
that's right.
Yeah.
Then the second step is to remove energetic blockages. So once we can get a person to be present with themselves and present in the room, then we can begin the treatment by talking about the blockages that are present, the energetic blockages, the complaints, what they're experiencing. And this time is normally lost in a normal conventional clinic because we don't have time. Doctors don't have time to sit the patient and
Correct.
to talk about what's going on in their life.
Yeah.
We usually send them to psychologists.
Yeah,
Is
you're
it?
right. Yeah, you're right. Everyone just jumps into, writing the prescription, right? In that way, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So what
No
we
one's
do
coming
different,
down. Yeah.
what we
You're
normally
right.
do different is to talk about the problem. Now, when we talk about the problem, we're able to externalize what the issue is, separating the person from the problem.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of psychology involved in that. So by identifying the pain, they are not the pain, but the pain is the pain.
Right.
You see?
Yes.
Then we begin to deal with the pain differently. You know, not from a place of being judged, not from a place of being weak, not from a place of being unable to help themselves,
Right.
but from a place that they have support. You see? So always when we go to step 2, we're able to connect with the patient and get the patient to understand that the problem is the problem and this is what we're going to do about it. So we do a diagnostic. We do a diagnostic that reads information from 78 organs, and it reads even the composition of the blood, because blood also has certain vibrations that highlight properties in the blood, that highlight even cells, cell functionality. And you know, the Germans have gone to extreme measures, the Russians, in order to document this information. So we have a consistent measure to measure ourselves with. You see, and it's been extremely helpful to enable us to decipher probable causes, probable diagnostics. And this is very helpful because we do the initial task and then send the patient for further investigations at the hospital.
Okay.
So
Wow.
we act as the know-it-all.
Yes.
We support by providing information, education, and time with the patient.
Okay.
So the patient is better informed, then he can choose the necessary treatment based on the information he has.
Correct.
Then we go ahead and do a process called supporting the organs. So we have frequencies that are played as programs to support the organ functionality, the elimination organs like the kidney and the liver and the spleen. You know, so it's not really rocket science. What they're really doing is supporting the body. Once you walk into an office and you go up to the CEO, you don't tell the CEO what his problem is. You tell the CEO, look, I have a solution for you.
Correct.
And so
Yeah. Dr. Ben, you're mute. You've gone mute. Can we hear you?
There you go. If I
Yeah.
can get the person's support, that's the beginning to his journey of healing.
Yes, that's correct.
That's right. So good health comes from not just good food, not just exercise. It comes from having someone to walk you through the journey. Comes from understanding that there's more to one way of healing.
Correct.
That we need to be present with the situation to understand how we really feel, to get to the root of the problem.
Correct.
And so I spend with the patient sometimes 6 to 12 sessions or 18 sessions working on deep-rooted problems.
Correct.
And
which most times could be emotional as well, right? That leads to...
right.
Yeah, correct.
And the amazing thing, Ethel, is I find out most of the time it starts with an emotional state of disease.
Yes.
A state of being helpless, a state. And, so you can get the best vitamins, you can get the best supplements and still feel sick, unhappy, lonely,
Yeah, correct.
So
yeah.
That's the perspective anyway of good health.
That is, and you're so right, because as we were talking, before the show, right? That men and women need to really invest in themselves by seeking help, right? And seeking help is not associated with guilt or shame or anything of that sort. It is just a way of making sure that you live healthy.
That's right.
Correct? Yeah. So, Dr. Ben, so is there a disturbance from your side?
No, not from my side.
Okay.
Everything is clear here.
It's fine? Okay, great. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Ben, how do you heal yourself?
Okay, how do I heal myself? I used my own system on myself. I remember back in 2016, I had a mild TIA that resulted in me not being immobile on the left. And there's really nothing much to do than to go for physiotherapy. And so I used the treatment on myself. I used bioresonance on myself, oxygen treatment as well. With determination, with support from friends, loved ones, family, I was able to recover and get back to normalized living. I began to discover then the world is more than just medicines.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And it can be a lonely place when you are in a disease state.
Yeah. No, you're so right. Yeah, it can be a lonely place when you're in a disease state. I like that. It is so true. It is so true. And that disease state could be mental state of mind, as well as physical state of mind too.
That's why I understand patients now. So I spend a lot of time, if you notice, in my clinic, everything's by appointment basis. So I spend a lot of time sitting and working with the patients and dealing with the root cause of the problem, giving them the informed report that they need, information to make a good decision. So I treat myself to a sauna, far infrared sauna. I go swimming. I do hydrotherapy for myself as well. I take the necessary supplements based on the readout that I get from the machine. So from time to time, I get a fair assessment of my weekly nutritional deficiencies, which is really helpful because I don't need to be buying supplements for the rest of my life.
Yes, exactly.
That's right. So I need an assessment, a fair assessment that's coming from a device and not from someone selling me supplements.
Yeah, or over the counter,
That's
right?
That's right. But the amazing thing is I'm working with companies now that do supplements, but share the same conviction, and that is to provide people with the best of the best, and the outcome is always to heal the person.
Yes,
and so it's working well for me now.
Yes. On that note, I have to introduce you to another gentleman who also believes in the same ideology of quality, as quality as a benchmark, because I think that stays true to you for the rest of your life, no matter what you do, right? So, so Dr. Hugh is the medical officer of the Mac Clinic. The Mac Clinic, as I mentioned to you, is one of Malaysia's very premier aesthetic institutions for the last 20 years or so. And Dr. Hugh and Dr. Hugh is here with us backstage. Let me just bring him onto the show and and have him live. Dr. Hugh.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
On StreamYard.
Yes,
Yes.
meet each other, Dr. Benjamin, Dr. Hugh, like I was telling Dr. Ben that we've been both, the two of us also have been sharing so much about my explorations with bioresonance, and the kind of solutions I also find for my holistic health as well, and why I feel it supports me, where I want to be in my physical state of health and stuff like that. So, Dr. Hugh, thank you for joining us, and I hope it's a clear line. Is it a clear line?
Can you hear me? Is
I
it
can
okay?
hear you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So yes, so as I was introducing to my audiences about the MAC Clinic as Malaysia's premier aesthetic institution for the last 20 years, Dr. Hugh, you've been in the industry for such a long time, and we've also had on and off, conversations, about alternative medicine, holistic healing, and all the other streams that are out. In your opinion, do you think alternative medicine is a new age wellness trend, or do you think there's more meat to it?
No, I think alternative medicine has always been there. I mean, it's just the way you see it and from which perspective you're coming from, right? I mean, now we are saying that alternative medicine is anything other than mainstream medicine, which is Western medicine. Even traditional Chinese medicine is like alternative medicine, right? And even Ayurvedic medicine is like alternative medicine, according to your viewpoint. So I think it's always been there. There's always been other forms of healing that that has not been maybe as well published in scientific works, right? Because people have not bothered to do that because it's been proven effective over thousands of years. Sometimes, like traditional Chinese medicine or Ayurvedic medicine. Right. So I mean, there is definitely something there, and also, of course, there's so many other practices which I'm not even aware of. And of course, it still evolves over time. And this thing like bioresonance is actually something new. And then there are doctors also who are also going into new fields, right? They're also like this color therapy, and there's also stem cells. I mean, you could call it as alternative medicine as well. And it's quite interesting because from what I heard just now, you talk a lot about energies and vibrations and all that, which is also something that I'm also dealing with every day. Because what are lasers? I mean, we've got wavelengths, we've got frequencies, we've got sizes. So it's all, and it's not just about burning. I think in the early days, right, when it was used very crudely, things like lasers and ultrasound and all that were used to just destroy. But I think in the past, maybe 10 years or even before that, it's used to stimulate. And there's also this interesting field of photobiology as well, which a lot of the mainstream, doctors who are trained, even in specialties, will say it's like poo-poo. It's not real medicine. But actually, when you apply it to wounds, diabetic wounds, or laser wounds or cuts, it really has an effect. And if you apply it also to aging, you can also have an effect. So I'm totally open as long as it's not junk science, right? And there's some basis to it. Yeah, I'm open to this kind of alternative, ways of looking at medicine.
Correct. Very, very interestingly, Dr. Hugh and Dr. Ben, I'm sure you caught it too, about this entire, example that Dr. Hugh gave about lasers, right? From being destructive, and I said the sci-fi movies that I like watching, you just go destroy. What is it? Death Planet.
Star Wars. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Death Star, right?
It's over and done. And then, science has made such creative use of it, right? In that way. Dr. Hugh, what is your mantra to good health, your own good health?
I think I identify quite a lot with what Dr. Benjamin said about mental state as well. Because you need, sometimes your brain can make you sick, right? Yeah. So if you have a good outlook in life, you're a bit more positive. You have a healthy outlook in life. You don't have anything that's really bugging you. There's some internal issue that is holding you or drawing you down and making you more sickly. Sometimes it's to do with how you view things as well. So it's really a lot in the mind. Of course, not everything has got no organic basis. Sometimes there are some things you need to correct. And that is where medicine is particularly quite good at. And then, of course, you can look at alternates as a support kind of system. So I think for me, the mantra is definitely, if you want to have a good and healthy, and you look at well-being and holistic health,
Yes.
then you start from having a good mental health. But of course, do the rest, and we all know what the rest are, right?
Yes,
Exercise. Human beings are meant to move, right? If you stay
Correct.
still, right, there'll be a lot of stasis. Stasis in any form is just bad. Yeah, we need movement, dynamics, right? And then
Correct.
of course, what you take in, right, is what you produce. What makes you. So you have to be careful on that as well. And I think there's so much information out there that you can actually just do a Google search, and see what people are trying out, and you can try out. And sometimes you find something that suits you, and
Yes.
it can make real dramatic difference in your life.
Correct. Yes. I think the Mac Clinic also has a stream of holistic medicine as well, Dr. Hugh, right?
Yes, yeah. We look at the patient more holistically because, of course, in the early days when aesthetic medicine came about, it was very superficial kind of viewpoint on. We just do things like to specifically treat certain problems like wrinkles, or improve skin condition. But when we look at patients and we start talking to them, like what Dr. Benjamin does, and spend time, right, understanding their concerns, there's a lot more behind it, a lot more to it. It's definitely not a cough and cold thing where you just discharge with a prescription. If you understand and take time with patients, I think this goes for all specialties.
Yes.
Including cardiology and gastroenterology and all that. If the doctors really do spend time understanding the patient more, they will get much better outcomes with the patients.
Correct. And Dr. Ben, I must tell you this, Dr. Hugh is such a fantastic listener. And that's the reason his patients really love him, and they stick to him. I like that, because most of the Mac Clinic, patients, if you could call them, are all the ones who've been with Dr. Hugh for a very long time, right, Dr. Hugh?
Yeah. We've got
so
very long-term patients. Yeah.
It's so important that that the medical fraternity understands that. To listen is a huge gift, and then that half of your problems are solved just by listening, and knowing that someone's listening to you.
Yeah, because I think above being doctors, right, we are also healers. If you think about healing, right, there's so many aspects of it. It's not just throwing a pack of medicine at people, or just pointing out certain obvious problems like high blood pressure or high sugar levels. I mean, there's more to it, right?
That's right. Absolutely.
That is fantastic. This is so good. And I'm sure both you gentlemen should meet.
I look forward to meeting you sometime, Dr. Benjamin.
Absolutely. I'm coming over soon.
Please do. Yeah. Welcome.
Like I mentioned, Dr. Ben, too, that you are opening your third clinic. Is that happening soon?
Yes. I'm working on the possibility of working on something here in Sabah, because there seems to be a very, very high demand. And it's been very difficult to get patients to move from Sabah and Sarawak to Malaysia weekly. So having a center here would support that. And so I just spent an hour talking to a group of people here as well through a workshop. And there's so much of great need for listeners, for healers. I think, like Dr. Hugh was saying,
yes, absolutely, correct. And Dr. Hugh also is opening up something new in the pipeline, in developing, right?
Awesome.
New clinic in another mall. Yeah, but more on that later next time. Yeah, when we do a proper launch.
Special on it. Dr. Hugh, thank you so much for joining us. And as Dr. Benjamin has promised, he is coming with his wife.
Yes.
Good bonus.
Thank you, Dr. Hugh, and have a great evening. Thank you so much.
Enjoy the rest of the show. Yeah. Nice meeting you all. Bye.
Nice meeting you.
Bye, Dr. Ben.
Bye.
Wow. See, and that's what I like. I love connecting the right people, because and you know that, Dr. Ben, I think
what a happy soul.
Yeah, a complete happy soul, and I'm so grateful that I met him. And this was all during COVID time, correct? And then we connected. Of course, we connected in Goa, and it just kind of from Goa the relationship popped into Malaysia. But happy people, good people are so important to have in our lives. And the more that we have them, the better for us, because as you said, good health is all about, uh, a state of happiness that starts from the mind state, right?
That's right.
In that way. Yeah. Which brings me to my next question. Do you see bioresonance getting more popular as more people move into alternate forms of healing? The catchword here is healing.
Yes, I find more people, especially a lot of families, look to bioresonance as a solution now. Since that we've been able to quantify the results and give well-informed answers to patients.
Okay.
Before it was just maybe, could be. Now we have strategic information that can be given to the patient for further investigations. And most of the time, the machine's accuracy is about 97% accuracy. So it's good. It's good for the practitioner. I find it's being more popular among holistic practitioners right now to have a standardized system of evaluation.
Okay.
And that's what Bioresonance has done. It's brought people together. It's brought practitioners from all walks, from lithotherapy to light therapy, light spectrum therapy, to laser therapy, into the same room to have similar language that they can use in order to identify with their patients.
Correct. If I mentioned to you that earlier too, when I was in Dubai, and I kind of just made very very casual inquiries. People knew bioresonance there too. It was it was not like something that I had to explain what it was. They had heard of it. They had heard of it, and some of them told me that they were very keen to explore, because I guess the new dynamics today, in a way, thanks to COVID, has opened up people's minds to see, look at themselves holistically now, right? As I said, how do they live their lives, right? In that sense, right? And to go back to natural healing. Sometimes, most of the times, it's all in your kitchen cabinet. It's all there, in terms of what you eat, how you eat, when you eat, that kind of thing. And this whole movement, as if I may say so, that I'm also part of. And I also have met people in Malaysia who have given up their old ways of doing things and living, and are kind of completely adopted new diets, plant-based diets. They've gone completely vegan, and their life has reversed, literally reversed. Right from this way their skin looks, how they look, and people just say, "Oh my God, what are you guys on?" I said, "Nothing, just."
You're absolutely right, Ethel. I mean, it's brought a new perspective.
Yeah.
It's really brought a new perspective to people on how to value their life.
Correct.
And to value their life, they need to put in some discipline and not pop the pills. It's got people realizing, and I'm so happy because I get, from now and then, people come and tell me like, no, I'm like yourself. I've taken the steps, I'm doing this for myself. I feel the energy. I feel the change. Things are turning around in my environment, in the way people see me, people react. And that's what we want to see. We want to see a tremendous breakthrough in not just one person's life, but entire families.
Yes, because because I see that. I told you that, that a lot of people ask me, "Hey, what happened to you? What are you on?" I said, "What am I on?" I'm just, I'm on living a high life, in that sense, right? By completely watching what I do, how I do it, with whom I do it, that kind of thing, and making sure that that I keep putting myself first, in terms of healthcare and mental balance and peace, and all those kind of values that I hold very high. And I'm sure that a lot of people out there will resonate to it, because they've also adopted a similar way of life as their lifestyle, which brings us we're almost kind of getting to our 16-minute mark. And we know it. We will just address the pink elephant in the room right now. Because you know this and I know this. Why is there so much of opposition from the medical fraternity to bioresonance? I see that, I see that because, as I mentioned to you, I had, people from the medical fraternity also calling me and saying, hey, this is completely humbug, and why are you even addressing it, that way? And I said, I'm a journalist. I raise questions, and that is what we're supposed to be doing. So why do you think there is so much, hoo-ha?
As a practitioner, I think every practitioner wants to be right. They want to be able to hold the answer in order to be right. And the truth of the matter is we are not right all the time. We are also learning how to treat people and to how to deal with different dispositions or different problems, different health problems. These are all approaches. But you see, technologies are tools that are given and put in our hands. A bad workman quarrels with his tools. You probably heard that before. But what if a workman refuses to use his tools? Then they refuse change. And I think that's the elephant in the room right now. A lot of people are afraid of change, how we treat people or using a new approach. Lasers are coming out into the market right now. So what would happen to aestheticians? So it's the same in every faculty. But what I figure Bioresonance, the problem with Bioresonance is this, that Bioresonance is a holistic therapy that includes various applications of natural healing. Approaches to TCM. There's even TCM library of TCM herbs, homeopathy library. There's a naturopathy library. There's an Ayurvedic library, and it's a library for every and any practitioner to use. Remedies that each he is familiar with, and that's the key word here, Ethel. Familiarity. A lot of medical doctors aren't familiar with homeopathic substances because if you don't believe in homeopathy, you will not learn about them. So to ask them about homeopathy would be going to ask someone in a foreign language.
Yes.
So that's the first problem. The second problem is conventional medicine deals with the onset of disease. We don't have the time to get to the root. We get to the problems and we try to fix it as quick as possible. It's not always the truth because there are good doctors out there who take time. So I can't generalize for everyone. So therapy can be also preventive in nature, and we know that if we prevent disease, where would the medicines be?
Correct.
So the third problem is holistic allopathic cooperation needs to develop. And for this to develop, we need more talks. We need to sit together and work out a plan of how we can pass the ball.
And open-mindedness. I think an open-mindedness.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And it's happening. It's happening. Malaysia has already established the first faculty of energetic medicine. WMU is moving in with the first faculty. They've put me as in position to begin talks. And I've been already starting and developing talks with the neuro department and different hospitals to raise awareness of bioresonance, a clearer awareness on bioresonance. And a more open-minded awareness on bioresonance to come off as someone to support the medical industry and not to replace it, because we're all healers and we're all here for the same objective, that is to help people heal.
Yeah, and good health, right? That is the priority, right? I must also mention Dr. Ben here because for when I kind of just started my foray into waking up, as you call it, right? I'm an ardent follower of Mind Valley, and there are so many energy healers there, unbelievable, and they're all talking about using energy to heal the body, to heal the body in terms of your mental ailments. And when I mean that, I don't mean really kind of advanced disabilities, right? Using energy for spiritual well-being, using energy to kind of, like you mentioned, remove the energy blocks. And these are all very, very senior practitioners who have such a huge, thriving audience. So many, testimonies, right, from people who have healed from different types of, ailments, big, small, whichever, right?
If you really look at it,
if
you really look at it, Ethel, yoga, Tai Chi, these are all energetic practices.
Correct.
And what do they do? They create an awareness of the person, their spirit, soul, and body. It gets them to sit back, take a back seat, and start to observe and be present with themselves.
Yes.
You see? And that's the first step to healing, is being aware of your situation. The only way you can do that is to sit back, relax, and understand that you exist because you exist. And you see, so people are turning to all these exercises because they're looking for answers inside, but to get those answers, they really need a discipline.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Yeah. Discipline is where it starts. I mean, you can't become how do you call it? You can't achieve enlightenment, correct? Unless you followed a very systematic and a disciplined form of getting to that state, right? Of study and you're right, absolutely right. And as I said, I am speaking from a space of being there, tried it, and know so. So so it's much more than just this is much more than just an interview. To my Facebookers, I must restate back that this is more than just an interview. I'm speaking from a space of having tried bioresonance myself, and I am quite convinced that I will kind of use this particular a form of support system for myself to achieve a very balanced, optimized state of well-being for myself. Which is my goal. I've completely committed myself to that, and you've been a huge part of that healing process, doctor. Because
thank you so much.
Even when I had COVID, you were there for me every single day. Because to kind of take me through that, saying, "Okay, Ethel, don't panic. There's nothing to worry about. You're doing fine." That's all that you need. Sometimes that's all that you need. Correct, to kind of know that I'm not alone in this. That way. So yes, so from Malaysia, where to next, Dr. Ben?
I believe I would like to establish a base first in Malaysia. That means a strong base that we can launch from. So we are working now to develop one in Sabah, in Penang, in Johor, and after which we can launch into other countries like Philippines and even Dubai, and continue where we left off in India,
right? Yes.
in Goa. And so I believe people need to see this as a sustainable program that can be duplicated and used in various parts of the world. So that it's non-dependent on one person to practice. Because normally a lot of holistic practices are based on one person master, and the rest, master of none. So what we're trying to do is use technology. Like I said before, bioresonance is an approach, but we're using technology right now to marry the sciences and to allow us to speak a common language. Right now, I'm integrating these technologies with even products and products from companies that are willing to try resonance as a field of energy imprinting into their product. And we're beginning to see a lot of breakthroughs and potential in each product that we potentiate. And people are beginning to realize that energy is there's more than meets the eye. It's still something to be reckoned and studied. And but we are in the right direction, the right roadmap, because we've had predecessors before us who have set the path with research and development and created various systems that actually work. And so I would like to challenge people, practitioners out there who are struggling to keep afloat, to identify with these technologies and bring these technologies into your life and allow them to be tools, and surgical tools in your hand.
You're right. You're correct. As I said, good health is a birthright of every individual, and he or she must take charge of wanting good health, whether it's mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, for yourself, right? I mean, no one can take a horse and then shove its head into the pond, right? And it'll drown.
That's right.
It has to come from a very voluntary, participative standpoint, correct? I always say that.
I've created now a syllabus. I'm in the process of establishing the syllabus as something that's recognized in universities. And so we're in the process of developing a sustainable plan for many practitioners and doctors to embark on using new technologies in their approach to medicine in their own private clinic. and that is to enable people to get informed and intelligent answers to their problems, that they can actually take action based on what they discover about themselves, rather than, most of the time patients go into the clinic, the doctor hears your problem based on what you tell them.
Correct.
But there's no tool to investigate or to find out what's really happening, unless you send them for an MRI or PET scan or a CT scan. And so all these things take time. So what we hope to achieve is to build enough awareness that more and more people use the technology to help others in their lives. So I want to be in the forefront of doing that, raising and building the awareness and helping doctors who are open-minded to connect and to use such devices in their own clinic, in their own practice. Maybe integration, support the integration process.
Yeah, integrated. Yeah, wow, that's a very noble mission, and I wish you all the best for it.
Thank you so much.
Yes, I am also going to, when we meet, when you're back, I'm also going to I want to see more of this ENF, right?
That's
ENF
right.
is right. Yeah. I want to kind of. Yes.
This is the first product in Malaysia that has resonance imprinting technology in it, and so it's patent pending right now. So it's been submitted for patency, and right now it's been used in homes to actually protect and prevent the spread of viruses and bacteria. And they've got all the necessary certificates and serum, as well as independent tests done to substantiate the protective capacities of the solution. And we're putting imprinting technologies into essential oils as well to potentiate them further to do their job even better. Right.
And would this be
hair care to face care? Sorry?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay, from hair care to face care, you said. Okay, my favorite topic. Will it also
hair care to face care to body care?
Yeah, body care. Will it also be available to the general public?
Yes. Pretty soon, all these products will be available. In fact, the iDefender Gold is already available to the general public. You can go to www.enfessential.com and get more information about that. I will be posting a lot of this information on my Facebook and Instagram as well. Feel free to call and inquire if there's any need to understand the products even better. I'd be happy to explain to you.
Yes. So to my audiences who are here and who will watch the video later on, you've heard it from Dr. Ben. He's there on Facebook, Dr. Benjamin Patrick. Just find out, reach out to him, ask him all your questions that you need to, correct? Because as we keep saying that, good health is your own responsibility towards it. No doctor can force you if you don't participate in your own good health. So, Dr. Ben, thank you so much. It's wonderful. I love talking to you, and we can talk for hours together, because I have a very I have a very curious. I'm a very curious creature. You know that by now. So there's and I love when I'm heard and I have answers to my questions as well. So thank you so much for making the time to be with us, and for being a very honored guest on Heart to Heart with Ethel Da Costa. I'm happy that you met Dr. Hugh as well. And
yes, I'm happy.
Of course, and I'm sure when you're back, we'll all three of us will meet up and take this conversation further, right?
Would love to.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for being there. I wish you a great evening, and as I said, the video will be out. Please share it with your fan base as well and your audiences too. I think the more people know, the better, because it is a sense of service. I look at it that way, to put information out there, and each one then can make their own decisions and choices. So thank you, Dr. Ben. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you so much for listening in, all the viewers. Thank you.
Thank you. And good night. I'll see you soon when you're back.
See you soon.
Yeah. To everyone who is here and who will watch Heart to Heart with Ethel Da Costa later on when it's shared, thank you so much for being part of my journey as well, because I feel very good. It is a great, a fantastic experience for me to put out my thoughts as well, and to kind of share what I feel, from a professional and a personal point of view. The idea is to create service And I am glad that all my guests who I bring onto the show resonate with the same sentiment. Have been there, done that, have seen it all, and are much more willing to kind of, to share information and knowledge for the betterment, of our communities at large. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for, making Heart to Heart with Ethel Da Costa a priority in your own schedules, because you make the time to tune in and listen and share that time with us and with me. Please share it, share the video widely. You know that you can reach out to me anytime you want to on Facebook. There's Facebook Messenger, there's Instagram, DM as well. All my handles are at Ethel Da Costa, including my website. Let us promise to ourselves that being in a great, healthy state of mind, body, and spirit is is a commitment that we take upon ourselves, so that we live healthy, happy lives. I'm going to see you next Sunday. Till then, stay well, stay happy. Good night.